Hey everybody. Welcome back to another video. This is a new format. We're gonna try something new here. We're gonna try something new. I had an idea, epiphany, another new series. Will we ever get back to the podcast episodes soon? Hopefully. Shut up. Look, right. I came up with this idea, with me, doing obviously Artists of the Day. If you haven't seen that series where I look at underground or upcoming artists across everywhere, anywhere I can find, review them, to give them a platform, and also just to see what they're up against. I feel like it's a new way of looking at stuff, so it's not like I'm not a ripoff of Sean C or Anthony Fantano, while simultaneously learning new music and as well as giving artists new opportunities. Because while my thing isn't as big as others, honestly, I think it still gives people views. It's still, even in each pair of eyes matter. That being said, I still wanted to give my opinions on like major artists, and I thought, how could I do a unique thing on that? And got me thinking, what if I do something called Discography Dive? And basically, what I would do is that off camera this time, so that YouTube doesn't fucking kill me with copyright claim, I would go ahead and listen to a mainstream artist or any artist. In fact, I'll start off mainstream, but I'll do more underground as well, and I'll basically listen to their entire discography and make a playlist that basically which I think the best of each track. So today's first art. With that being said, so I would just be like, oh, if I were to do Juice World, right? I would be like, okay, we're gonna go by each album or go with all the singles and whatever songs personally I like the most. I would be like, okay, best of Juice World, and I would read you off and I would talk about it, why, and then I would basically give rating overall as an artist. So with that being said, the first artist in Discography Dive is the man, the myth, Kanye West. I mean, if you really need to be told who the hell Kanye is at this point, you've been living under a rock. Even if you don't listen to his music, you know who he is. A lot being known for wanting to run for president at one point. Also, very recently having these Pete Davidson Instagram meltdowns. As a fan, it is embarrassing, but that doesn't take away from the genius that he is at music. I think, honestly, Kanye is one of the greatest of all time, and I decided that, hey, I'm going to listen to the entire discography of all his work, because after hearing his most recent release, I haven't heard Donda 2, by the way. Haven't heard Donda 2 because I'm not buying a stem player. I'm not buying one. I might buy one in the future, not right now. Your boy's broke. But with that being said, I digress. I've heard literally everything from back to this shit in 2004 to every single, and I've comprised a playlist off of everything I like in it. So with that being said, the first album we're going to go off of is The College Dropout. Now, I love The College Dropout. I personally think this is one of his best, if not the best album that he's dropped. And out the gate, it showed what made Kanye out the gate. You gotta remember, he was a platinum artist before he even got big, like the Kanye status. He was known. And he showed the meticulousness, all his influences, and what made him him. From the witty personality that in performance, while he wasn't the best lyricist, his performance made up for that. The soul samples and how his religion and all his faith and all the things he talks about puts influence to what he did. It showed that he was like, even though what he was unknown, he was still levels above every producer in the game, and why he's hailed today as one of the best to ever do it on an artist level. Period. Out of the gate, I loved All Falls Down. Obviously, these are classics, so I mean, people know these. All Falls Down, the big single, Jesus Walks, very, very good song, love it. Never Let Me Down with obviously Kanye, but with Jay-Z and Ivy. Two Words, which were with Kanye, Mos Def, Freeway, and the Boys Choir of, I want to say, was it the Boys Choir of Harlem or Chicago? Yeah, the Boys Choir of Harlem. I think it was done very well. I really enjoyed that one. And then We Don't Care. And We Don't Care What People Say. I really enjoyed that album. I would put that definitely above the majority of his shit, if not all of it. Next one, Late Registration. Late Registration, was good. Definitely wasn't as good as the College Dropout to me. Like I could probably listen to the even when Kanye is telling stories throughout the College Dropout. It captivates me. Where I can listen. It's one of the few albums I can listen to front to back. Um, I even enjoyed the fact that he rapped. This was obviously during the car crash and all that. He rapped a song through his wired shut jaw, and it sounded good. With Late Registration, it kind of piggybacked off of the same theme, and it was done. Again, was done really, really well. I've only really had 3 songs. I really was just like, this is just my favorites. Touch the Sky, mostly for the instrumental, because I didn't know that was a Kanye instrumental, and I heard that song I heard that instrumental so much in 2017 off of the YouTubers Jesser, formerly known as Jesser the Laser. He was a big Kanye fan, but he played gangsta. But I didn't know that was it, so I heard that and I was like, this is nasty, this is phenomenal. Crack music. Do I really even need to say anything about this? This is that crack. I literally reference it in when people are spazzing on my Artist of the Day series. Go check that out. I literally go, this is that crack music, nigga. What? And then Roses. Roses is definitely one of the more introspective ones, and I do love the incorporation of the soul sample stuff, and I think it created such a new, it introduced such a new aspect to hip hop specifically, and that not a lot of people were doing that per se, or not as much as Kanye did it. And I think when he did that did a really big service because it opened the door for a lot of samples and all that stuff. Wouldn't put it over. Wouldn't really put it over College Dropout, but still, for that to be the second, and it's not horrible at all. I loved it. I still really really enjoyed it. The third album, Graduation. Now, Graduation was phenomenal. I enjoyed that. Like, that was ridiculous. Like, the trilogy of College Dropout to Late Registration to Graduation was ridiculous, and it does not get talked about enough. The fact that this was to me, I just blew my mind. Like, out the gate, you came out with these 3 back to back to back. I would almost compare this trilogy to Tyler the Creator's trilogy albums after Cherry Blossom, or not Cherry Blossom, Cherry Bomb, excuse me. I would compare it, and just in that this new trilogy of just being like, holy shit. Like, and again, I have listened to all of Tyler's discography. He's another artist I'll probably do in the future. But for him to go from, after Cherry Bomb from Flower Boy to Igor to Call Me If You Get Lost is ridiculous. I feel like he came out the gate with something like that. Obviously time being different, but I still think it's done phenomenal. I love Good Morning. I knew about and Good Morning, Champion. Did you realize that you were a champion? That's what? Stronger. Again, there's so many iconic sounds. I wonder and I wonder. It's just what? Can't Tell Me Nothing has one of the, and then another song, Can't Tell Me Nothing. That might have one of the best opening lines to a song I've ever heard. He said, I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven. When I awoke, I spent that on a necklace. You open up a song like that, that's crazy. Like I don't think y'all understand. And then the actual, one of the last song I liked on that album was actually the last song on it, called Homecoming, where he's actually, him with Chris Martin, where he's actually writing and telling a story about this girl, and he tells about all the things that was done to her and the stereotypes, and he actually tells you this isn't a girl. He's talking about the city he's from, Chicago, and he talks about will he remember him. I'm saying this like y'all haven't heard this song. Y'all probably have, but I didn't hear it the first time. I didn't hear it for a minute, so when I heard that, I was like, this is phenomenal. And I do think this marks an interesting point in Kanye's life, because this is the last album he dropped before his mother died, and I think that marked a new era in his life and in his music for sure. Next one is 808s Heartbreak. Real quick before I move on, I put Graduation over Late Registration in my opinion. It's not better than College Dropout, but I think this is better than Late Registration. For sure. For sure. All right, next is 808s and Heartbreak. And 808s and Heartbreak is very important. 808s and Heartbreak is one of these albums that definitely, to say it influenced modern music today is a severe understatement. A lot of obviously the 808 shits, and obviously a lot of the melodic crooning stuff could also be credited to Kanye off of this album, definitely, because he was kind of really the first to really blend, as well as blend these genres, and just how he, and this kind of was a thing where he started making the gunshot drums a big thing. I enjoyed it, but that being said, I only really had two songs that I personally would put on the playlist, and that was Heartless, obviously, because it's Heartless, and Amazing with Kanye West and Jeezy, because two classics. Coldest Winter almost made it, but I was like, it's good, but I wouldn't really go back to that. But Heartless and Amazing, it's just so good. It's just phenomenal. Where would I rank that? I would honestly rank, I think the album was good. To me personally, not that memorable, but it was still really good. I still would listen to it again. I would put it over Late Registration, but I wouldn't put it over Graduation or College Dropout. I wouldn't put it over Graduation or College Dropout. I put it over Late Registration. Crack Music was crazy, but I just think the two, he really had 2000, like, I don't know, was it 2008 and like beyond on a chokehold with fucking 808s and Heartbreak. He had a chokehold on these niggas for years. Next one, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I have a controversial take. It's not a bad album. Didn't really enjoy it that much. Gonna keep it real. Not really a lot of memorable shit for me. Runaway was pretty good, but didn't make it. The only song that I got on here that made it for me was Power, because it's Power. I think it's very, it's really long. Each song's 5 minutes, and I'm not opposed to long songs. That's fine, but I do. This one felt like the most of a chore to listen to. It's not like the most I've had to be like, I have to actively listen to it, because I'm like, this is the one where I saw myself having to check, see how long is this song. Oh God, it's 6 minutes. And while some of it's really good, I don't want to sit through, so many songs that are just 25 minutes. And I'm not opposed to long songs. If you do them right, you do them right. Again, Tyler the Creator does it, and I think certain songs done really well and all that stuff. And I think Kanye was really, does it really well on here too. Personally, for me, wasn't a very memorable album. I wouldn't say that's his worst, but for me, that's the one I would come back to the least. Next is his is obviously Watch of the Throne, the collaboration project between with him and Jay-Z. I really have and I think that might be his worst album on a technicality. Well, no, that's not his worst. I refrain. It's on the lower end of his discography for me. I think, obviously the big single, Niggas in Paris, forever a classic. It's on here. And really, I didn't anything else. I had one other song called Gotta Have It, and it had mostly to do with the sample. It is just yes, I got what you need. Like, oh my God, it's phenomenal. I think it's all really good album. I just think, like, Otis, wasn't a big fan of Otis. Wasn't a big fan of a lot of it, but they was all still really good. But yeah, there's only had two songs over, only really two songs like out of how many were on there that I would pull off and be like, oh, I could come back to these. Where would I place it? I won't say it's not better than College Dropout, Late Registration, or Graduation. It's not better than Heartless. I would put it on the same tier as My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but I do believe artistically it's definitely a lot better. Like, I'm not going to say Watch the Throne is better than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, because I know the Kanye stans would come after me if I said that, and I don't believe that anyways. Next album, Yeezus. Yeezus was an interesting one. Yeezus, obviously, people, the running joke where Yeezus actually had to age well. And I think that's the same way for me. First listen, I was like, I didn't really have a song on the playlist at all. And I was like, this is okay. This is, I could see why. And this was definitely a big influence on a lot of modern music. But I was like, I don't listen to it. Then I listened back to it again. Out the gate, Bound to, love it. Another song that I didn't forgot to put on here, but I have on my main playlist, Black Skinhead. The vroom, 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 vroom. Oh my god, just yes, yes, yes. Just this is definitely shows another, again, another era. The darker side of Kanye started to come out. In my opinion, especially through his music. Definitely, I think Yeezus is better than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I don't think it's better than 808s and Heartbreak. I think it's better than Late Registration, in my opinion. It's not better than Graduation. Not better than College Dropout. Better than Watch the Throne for sure. So it's up in the mid tier for sure. Next one, The Life of Pablo. Now again, The Life of Pablo, again, was one of these albums that I felt like kind of was a chore to listen to a little bit, but with that being said, it was worth the listen for sure. I love Father Stretch My Hands Part 1. Really enjoyed that one. And even Part 2, even though it's like probably not a big thing for a lot of people, but I love Part 2. I love when he was rapping over the Panda beat and he just kind of made this like little hybrid thing. I really enjoyed that personally. Feedback is just straight energy and him yelling over a song, and I enjoyed a lot. Wolves is just no, yes, just yes. I would definitely put Life of Pablo over Watch the Throne. Definitely, but besides those four songs, oh whoops, no, not trying to get copyright claim, but trying to get all the money for this video. My bad, Kanye, don't sue me. But, I think besides those four songs, there may be some memorable moments, but I wouldn't personally come back to that album to listen to it as an album. I probably wouldn't listen to it personally. It's better than Watch the Throne, better than Dark Twisted Fantasy. Am I gonna say it's better than 808s and Heartbreak? Is it? It's better than. Is it better than Yeezus? I don't even know if I'm ready. I don't even know if I mean to say it's better than Yeezus for me personally. And there's probably some Kanye stands and people screaming at me right now, but I don't think that's tough. It's definitely middle road for me. I don't think it's better than College Dropout or Graduation for me. Definitely not. It's better than Watch the Throne, better than Power. I mean, better than Dark Twisted Fantasy. Heartless, you can debate either way. I mean, not Heartless. Excuse me. 808s and Heartbreak, you can debate either way. Yeezus, off the playlist, right? You would be like, okay, obviously it'd be better, but I don't know. I'm willing to say you can debate that other way. So I'm gonna put that all in the same tier for sure. Next one is a more introspective album. This is kind of the shorter. This is kind of the era of like what he was doing. Really, these short but sweet tracks, short but sweet albums. Excuse me. This was kind of when he started doing, obviously the album with Pusha T, 7 tracks, all killer, no filler. Then he did Yay. The album I'm talk about Yay, which was very introspective, where it talks about, kind of the lows that oppose against his God complex highs. I love pretty much almost every track on this song, especially I love Party Next Door on it. As really the main feature and just all that, I think it's really awesome. I Thought About Killing You on here, Yikes, All Mine, Wouldn't Leave, and Ghost Town, and that's this 5 of the 7. I really enjoyed this album. I actually think when it's one of his best, I put it over. Again, I'm gonna get torn apart for all this, but I put it over Life of Pablo, put it over Yeezus, put it over Dark Twisted Fantasy, put it over I put it over. Oh, do I put it over 88s and Heartbreak? I would argue it, but I don't think I could. I wouldn't put over College Dropout. I put over Late Registration for sure. Um, Graduation, I would go back. I go back to Yay more, but I wouldn't. But I don't. Wouldn't put it over Graduation. I don't know. It's just that album was just ridiculous to me. I think personally. So I think as good as it is, I don't think I could put it over. And then kind of like the third trilogy in my eyes of like these short, all killer, no filler, is the Kids See Ghosts with Kid Cudi and Kanye. Now, I personally think this is one of the best things Kanye's ever released. Period. I think it's so rock solid. Um, I love Feel the Love with Pusha T on there. I love Fire. And I love Reborn. I just hate that we'll never get the sequel because Kid Cudi and Kanye don't like each other now, and I just hate it because that was such a phenomenal track. But you know, we do still have that as a commemoration, and that will live on forever. Do I put this over a majority of stuff? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Would I put it over Yay? Probably. I probably, but you could debate it. I would. I wouldn't. I would kind of put it. I kind of look at them as a hand in hand, so I couldn't really put them over each other. I kind of look at them as just kind of a running, ongoing run-on thing, personally. But I still really enjoyed it. Obviously, we have to talk about his worst album, Jesus is King. Now, and that's me saying that, not listening to Donda 2. I've heard Donda 2 sounds incomplete. I've tried to watch Anthony Fantano review. He didn't give it a rating. He is, I feel really uncomfortable based essentially to rate this out of 10. I don't think it's as awful as people make it, but it's very like generic gospel that I'm just like, it's all right. The only song I have on here is "Use This Gospel" with Clips or Clipsy and Kenny G. But even that is like a stretch. I definitely put that as his worst album for sure. And finally on this playlist we have Donda. Now Donda, I'd argue is his best album. This came out obviously, this was a very chaotic build up, lead up, and release. We all know what happened up that. His label released it when he didn't want it to, but I think when it came out, this genuinely may be the best album I've heard from him for sure. Jail, Off the Grid, Hurricane, Praise God, Okay, Okay, Believe What I Say, 24, Moon, Donda, Tell the Vision is an interlude, but I personally enjoy it, which I know it's not one of the highlights of the album, but I still enjoy it. Pure Souls, Come to Life, and then No Child Left Behind. What? And just the level, just the performance he has on all these, on top of the features he brings on here, and they all just sound like everybody just sounds phenomenal. Just like Moon is definitely one of my favorite songs on there because Moon is just it's just phenomenal. It's just everything great. Again, that song was with I think Don Tolliver and Kid Cudi, I believe. Just you want to feel like you're ascending into the clouds. That is the song for you. Don, if I were to rate Donda among his discography, better than obviously better than Jesus is King, better than Kid See Ghost, better than Ye, definitely better than Fathers than T-Lop, better than Jesus, better than the Watch the Throne, better than Dark Twisted Fantasy, better than 808s and Heartbreak, better than Late Registration for sure, definitely. I definitely put it over Graduation. Would I put this over College Dropout? I would I would put it just below it or on the same tier. I still think his best album would be College Dropout, but Donda, you could argue that as well because it was amazing. I didn't put Donda 2 because obviously I haven't heard it and I don't. If I'm hearing a lot of the stuff where it's like it sounds incomplete and stuff, I don't want to really rate it like that. I would um, much rather like listen to it when it's like done because you know Kanye likes to make everything changes mid changes to a bunch of stuff while stuff is out. So, and then I also had the single "Easy" featuring the game. You know, obviously that sparked the big Pete Davidson thing, a very controversial track with this cover of a skinned monkey, which is horrific, but very grooving, very grooving beat, very dark sound. I love the game's verse, very killer. Kanye's is it's all right. Fantano says it's trash verse. I won't go that far, but it's there's so much. There's a lot of personal minutia and personal baggage that I'm like, I could see why people wouldn't like it, but I enjoy it. Overall, Kanye West as an artist, I think he's one of the greatest of all time. I think when you artists, when you talk about from writing, you know, to writing, rapping lyrics or singing whatever, to producing, to performance on all levels. You're not gonna find too many people who are all around better, just all around. So I would probably give him as an artist on a professional scale. I obviously judge it differently um, than I would for the artist of the day. It's not the same scale. I would judge this on a professional in comparison to all the people out. I would give him a strong 8 to a light 9 as an artist. I think while he's not perfect, the work he's put out is phenomenal, and the groundwork and the path he's built for so many artists and so many, and he's made so much stuff that's made the gateway for people to be great. The influence he's had, excuse me, well, tripping over my word. The influence he's had on music, not just rap, but music, is out there, is wild. A lot of the features he's been on, the people he's worked with over the years, just overall phenomenal body of work. Definitely not perfect. Definitely not perfect. We have as good as he has a lot of good stuff. It is. There's a lot of duds. I would still give him a light 9 to a strong 8 to light 9, just because of how much he's done and how much a majority of that stuff I can go back to and fully enjoy. But yeah, that was discography dive of Mr. West, Mr. Kanye West. Let me know what y'all think of this. If this is boring or not, it's kind of just want to see what people would think of this. Stay safe. Love y'all. Bye bye.